Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to cut out this silhouette of the zebra on 12mm plywood. Now personally myself, this is too big a project for my little shed. Basically what you see there, I have a little table with all my tools, and I have basically the same on the opposite side. So it's a little bit too big, but we'll work around it and I'm sure we'll cut it out. The idea is to remove all the white sections, and basically that will be the end of the project once we've cleaned it up and put a bit of paint on, obviously. Now you could put a backer on this, and we'll see towards the end of the project if it is worth putting a thin backer underneath and painting it white, just so the black and white stand out a lot better. For myself, on my wall, which are more or less nearly white, we will rely on the backer of the wall itself in the living room to act as the backer, and basically just have the black sections that are cut out. Now it's a nice size. It wedges in literally 24-inch, and that is only because the plywood I purchased is 24 inches across, and the actual length of it, it's coming in at 31 inches. So it's 24 by 31, so it's a nice size. Now normally with these projects, any scroll saw project for me, I would line the plywood with painter's tape. Just literally line the full piece and spray on your glue. But just find it over there and then stick that down and we'll start cutting it out. It's just too big, a lot of wasted tape and stuff, so I use a good old method which I use on most of my projects. It's a bit of carbon paper underneath. You can get 2 or 3 pieces of this, line it all up under your project, and just draw around it with a pen. For me, it's all part of the process. And when you're indoors when you do this, so it's nice and warm, and it's just nice and relaxing just to trace around. Obviously once you've done that, we can remove the template. That way, should we want to make another one of these, which I very much doubt it, we can use that same template again, should need be. Put that to one side there, and there's our image, all nicely drawn out. I do apologise for the quality of the video in. Remember, I just film off my mobile phone on a little stand that I made, so space wise we're going to just make do what we've got. But you see that carbon paper, that's drawn that out really nice, and obviously we're not going to have no mess with the paper and stuff about. Now there's a lot of, I say a lot, there's a few inner cuts. Most of these we're just coming from the side and cut that out. If you want to take your time with a pencil and mask off the areas you want to remove or leave, remember we're going to leave all these, but I know which ones I want to remove. But on these inner sections, you can see I've shaded them in with a pencil. They're the ones we want to remove. And obviously, because we want to remove all those inner sections, we will drill, I can hold it, pilot hole. So we'll just drill a hole in these, and we can pop our blade through and remove that dark section. Obviously on the next section, we'll just come in from the outside, like so, and so on, if you get what's going down there. And hopefully once it's all done, we'll use a dark stain or a nice black spray or a black paint to paint it all. A bit of varnish, you know, that's coming just to give it a little shine, and this little project will be finished. If not, if we're not looking too good, we will think about putting a backer underneath, but personally myself, I think that will do. Right, blade wise, for me, it's going to be a spiral blade. One, because of the size of the project. Now the good thing with these spiral blades, they will cut in any direction, so hopefully we can get it on the saw, come down here with a blade, back up the other side, and there will be no need to turn the wood. It's still a big piece to even try that, so we might have to come in from different angles and basically make it up as we go along. You can obviously use the pin blade, which comes on your more cheaper saws here, and the pinless blade. But obviously with these, you've got to have to turn your wood, quite a large piece. Unless you have quite a decent sized table on your little saw, you're going to struggle to get this turning around and stuff. But there's ways and means. I know with a scroll saw, you can come in at different sides or come in from the front, and it will all help you along. So you always work around it and do what needs to be done. Personally, if you are going to purchase a scroll saw, get one that takes pinless blades. Mine only takes pin blades, so spirals are pinless, so I have to use these adapter clamps, and they're a bit of a pain each time to put on and off with an Allen key. Feed it through, clip it on, feed it through the hole, clip it on the top, and we'll see. Right, now normally on these kind of projects we would do all the inner cuts first, just keeping a nice surround to hold on to. But with this one, I'm going to try and remove all this outer edge first. I will do that off camera. It's going to be a little case of getting my scroll saw and just going around here as quick as we can, just to remove all this, just to make it a little bit smaller. And then we'll start removing these longer sections here from the outside, coming in, and we will leave the inner cut to the last bit, and hopefully it'll still be together. Remember, it's 12mm plywood, so we shouldn't really have any issues with anything breaking. But those could be the famous last words. Right, we'll drill our pilot holes in. We'll set up the Pegas number 5 spiral blade on our saw, and then we can start cutting this one out. Right, you can see from that, I cut it out roughly, just round, just to take a bit of weight off the wood, personally. And we've drilled all our little pilot holes there into those inner sections that we have to remove. Right, we'll set this up on the scroll saw and try and work out how we're going to cut this one. Right, I've done a couple of twists and turns. Ideally, this scroll saw would be nice outside so I can get all the way around it. But in my little shed here, you just make do with what you got. So I'm just going to start somewhere over here. I'm going to have to do this stud up. We can't sit down anyway. And this is going to come in and start cutting around these sections here best we can. Once you've got rid of most of this, we can work out better angles to get in and try cutting this one out. It's a little bit big, but we'll make it work. Right, I've managed to cut that out. It's been a backbreaker. I must be honest with you. It wasn't the easiest of cuts. There's a reason why I do small projects. I mean, you can just literally just see around there my state of a shed. That's the little space I've got to work with. So I've had a bit of a struggle on, but you can do an hour, go away, and come back another day. Now with these bigger projects, spiral blades are perfect because, like I said previously, you can come down and cut that all the way down. Make sure you've got plenty of room at the other end. Come down the bottom and literally just cut up the other side like that. Now if you're going to do a lot of these, I will show you the piece in a minute. If I just get to one side. I've seen other folks where they've made extensions on the table. You can build some kind of framework at either side just to rest that piece on, or you could scrap a table like the one underneath, and I've seen people actually cut out the centerpiece to fit in the scroll saw. So basically the table becomes an extension of the small top that you see there. The only issue I had, and I did mention about always cutting in your inner cuts, because I've cut these sections out on the bigger ones. If I can just try and get this back in here, as I was trying to cut, these bits were catching on the table. I know it caught me out a couple of times and I came close, but we managed to modify things slightly and get back on track. So a bigger table base would certainly been a lot easier, that's for sure. Right, we'll tidy this mess up here and then we'll come back and we'll be on for cleaning up. Right, so that's it, ready to tidy up now. The only thing you do find with these spiral blades, if I just turn that over, you will get a lot of these little nodules here. So it's just a case with a file or a bit of sandpaper. We're just going to take our time, clear all the back off, and also on the front section we're going to go around with a bit of sandpaper just to round those edges off. I do have some small Dremel sanding drums. We might even put one of those on a Dremel and go around and basically just give it a bit of a shape with plywood, because it is made on different layers. I think 7 layers in this 12mm plywood. You will notice the different colours in the veneers, so you've got to be careful with your sanding. But as we might be staining this or painting it, it doesn't matter what this finish looks like, because we are going to cover it all over. So we will take our time now, give it all a nice tidy up, a little bit of shaping, not too much, sort the back out with the sandpaper, and then when we come back, hopefully it's nice and tidy and we're ready for painting or staining. Let's give it a nice tidy up first. Right, there's all our sanding done, all our tidying up, and I went with the little Dremel there end sanding drum just to round off those edges. And you might see, if you get really close up, when I was saying about the difference in coloration, you might just see how the whiter edges there. So that's our front section. That's come out really nice, no problems with that. If I can just turn it over without bashing anything, the back's gone nice and tidy, should I say, and we've got rid of most of our little noduly things there, so that's all nice and smooth. Now originally this was going to be for me myself, and the idea was to basically just spray it all black so it really stands out against my white walls, or I was going to use a nice dark teak. That would have been the easiest one, because you just pour that on there and it soaks in nicely and covers those sides up really easy. However, my sister has been round and she saw it and she wants it for herself. Now she wants it painting gold. Hey, who am I to judge? Her walls are nice and dark blue and she's into the blue and gold, so she's hoping to spray this gold and it should stand out nicely against the dark wall. If I can just turn it over again. We did try a little bit of gold waxing there on the back section. That would just take too long to do. So I purchased some gold spray. Now it's a champagne gold. 151 champagne gold. And I'm hoping it's going to come out like that. I hope it's not going to come out like the lid. So I'm just going to spray this with the champagne gold. And we'll see what it's like at the finished project. Now ideally you want to spray primer on this if you wanted to. More so for these side sections to cover up the 7 different layers. But we're not too bothered about that. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and start spraying this gold. It's a bit cold today, so ideally we want to leave it till it's a little bit warm. But I'll take my chance and we can get a couple of layers on and then do a couple more tomorrow and just build it up gradually. So the zebra is going to be gold. What can I say? Right, that's it. This little project is finished. Now I've sprayed it with the champagne gold. This wasn't my choice, remember. Now literally that is the colour we was hoping for. But personally, I think that's more of a silver colour. Now I want to take it to my sister's later today. And if she's happy with it, we're all happy with it. But if not, we'll go out and find another gold and give it another quick spraying over on another day. But as far as this video is finished, this project is also finished. So it's 31 inches high by 24 inches across. We cut it out on 12mm plywood using a Pegas number 5 spiral blade. These are my blade of choice. And remember, if your saw only takes pin blades, you will need these adapter clamps. They're just Draper adapter clamps. I always search online, but there's Axminster, there's different companies out there, they make different types. So for pinless blades, if your saw doesn't take it, you're going to need some kind of adapters. Now for me personally, remember, I was quite happy just to paint this black or stain it like a nice dark teak and left it as it was against the white of my walls. So we would have all the black here, all the black face and the lovely whites showing through. But as I've said previously, my sister collared this one off me and claimed it for herself, but she wanted it spraying so-called champagne gold. I don't know, I'm not quite seeing that. But anyway, once she's had a look at it, hopefully she'll be pleased. So we gave it plenty of that coatings. Now another option with these kind of projects, if your wall is a totally different colour, we could have left it black, you could have put it on a backer, thin piece like that, basically put that underneath and drew all the way around it, and that would have gone there like literally like that, if you can imagine, and this would have the white painted backer underneath, so all them sections would really stay out and you could have left a 1/4 inch lip all the way around. So that would be another option, but for me personally, this little project is done. If I can just get a bit more to show you, that is meant to be gold. That's definitely more on the silver side of things, but anyway, it is what it is, and we spent enough time on this one. It was a bit awkward to cut out for me. My little workspace we have here, just a little bit on the big side, and I did struggle a bit turning and turning, but we're finished, and that's it. Zebra cut out on 12mm plywood using the Pegas No. 5 spiral blade, and then we sprayed it with 151 champagne gold to finish. We'll take this outside and do another little clip, and then I'll be going around to my sister's later on, and hopefully she'll claim it for herself. Thank you very much for watching.